Too hot, too cold, just right. Remember Goldilocks? Story of the three bears, Goldilocks, porridge, beds, too hot, too cold, too soft, too hard. You get it. I grew up in northern Minnesota. That was too cold. I live in Arizona. It might be too hot. Maybe one day I will find my temperature just right, my climate just right. If anybody has any ideas for me, please do let me know. So we're constantly, it is obviously a feature of human nature, of extremes, polarities, yin and yang, night and day. You sort of get it. Fat and skinny, broke, rich. Why can't we find our just right? When we push ourselves too hard, we burn out. We want to go all in on things. And we get excited and we get the stuff that's required. Maybe we're going to start working out. So we buy gym clothes and we go load up on supplements and we get a trainer and we just get after it. And then unfortunately, a couple of weeks, couple of months later, well, our Peloton is now our coat hanger and our gym shoes are gathering dust. And why in the world are we still paying for this membership kind of a thing? Same thing goes for our diets and our budgets and everything else. Because we are either too hot or too cold. We need to find that just right through lines for every aspect of our lives. And I think that I know that the risk is if we're not considering these things, that, like I said, either we're going to burn out because we're going to go way too hard, or we're going to underachieve because we're just not going to go hard enough. We're going to slip back into our comfortable routines and our familiar patterns and habits and stuff like that. And we're just not going to get us where we want to go. Why talk about this stuff? Well, because so many of us are struggling, and I've struggled with so many things. And what I'm interested in doing is when I've learned how to do things, I get excited about it, and I'm interested in then teaching and sharing with others what it is that I've learned, what's worked for me to find sustainable success in whatever area that it might be. I'm interested in growing. I think that my prime directive, I think that my biological imperative as a human being, this is my perspective, is that I must achieve my ultimate potential. And I think I probably always thought that, but getting a little bit older has taught me that I need to be able to find that just right. I need to be able to find more sustainable solutions. So I don't just keep starting and stopping and doing this yo-yo crap, which isn't what I want at all. I'm interested in being a happy and healthy person, and I'm confident that you are too. Right now, we find ourselves, just obese. We're all overweight. We're over medicated. We're scattered in our attention. We're focusing on BS instead of important things. Ugh. Bad things all over the place. So we need to find our just right. We need to find the place where we are actually doing the things that we want to be doing and living the lives that we really want to be living. So I think that a change is needed. A change is necessary. And how can you do that to avoid just yo-yoing around? And it is finding that just right. And I submit that the correct place to find that is to find your comfortable but meaningful. Comfortable but meaningful. So whatever change we're trying to make needs to fit into our lives. So it's not too extreme, needs to be comfortable. At first, any change is going to be uncomfortable. There's no two ways about that. But to keep you doing it, to keep it going, it needs to fit into everything else you're doing and not be too uncomfortable. And it needs to be meaningful because, saving $20 a month is better than saving zero. There's no doubt about that. But it's not a meaningful amount of money. It's not going to move the needle long-term for you or get you where you want to go. and saving $2,000 a month. Amazing. But that's probably too much. That's too much gas. Going too hard. And you're just probably going to spread yourself way too thin and be stretched and stressed out and everything else. Just like parking 20 feet away from your door is better than parking right next to your door, but it's probably not going to move the needle any more than if you just start running a marathon every day. You will burn out, you will hurt yourself. So that is no good. So here's the question. Is a change required for you to get what you want? Is a change required? Do you know? In order to get to where you want to be with your money, in order to get where you want to be with your health, with your relationships, every aspect of your life that is important to you, do you need to change what you're doing? Do you know? And I think that the answer to that question, to figure it out, is just to take what you're doing to their logical conclusion. Just play it out. If you keep doing what you're doing, 10 years from now, what's your life going to look like? Keep doing what you're doing 20 years from now, what's your life going to look like 30 years from now? And give yourself the best possible scenario. If everything goes perfectly with what you're doing, where's that going to take you? And if it doesn't go exactly perfectly, where is that going to take you? And is that where you want to be? So to go through that little exercise, if the answer is no, this is not what I want, this is not where I want to be, that's not where I want to end up, well, then a change is going to be required. So I submit that a sacrifice in some form or fashion is going to be required. I was just thinking about the difference between having something and earning something. Probably all had the experience of being given something and treating that something like crap, because we do not necessarily value things that were handed to us. Participation trophy versus a first place medal that you actually earned and won are very, very, very different things. Now, we've fallen in love with hacks and pivots, and we are the beneficiaries of many different technological advances and innovation in most every aspect of our lives, which is really, really, really great. And I'm not saying that everything should stay the same, not by a long shot. I benefit from and take advantage of new things every single day, and I'm grateful for them. And I try to be mindful about their impact on my life as I am considering putting something in place in my life, or I'm evaluating different options on things. I want to think it all the way through. I want to think about, is this thing getting me what I really want again? As Thomas Sowell famously said, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs. So something that might seem like a magic pill or a fix-all, or this is going to be it, this is going to make all the difference for me, it's probably not going to. It's probably not going to do exactly what it is that you want. It's never going to work out awesomely. So you look at the different ways that we are making these kinds of trade-offs. We're doing it all the time. You could drink a regular Coke, or you could drink a Diet Coke. So drink a Diet Coke, saving a lot of calories, not a lot of sugar, but you're probably going to get cancer. Let's be honest about it. I love Diet Coke. It's not good for me. And we have these new weight loss drugs, which I've spoken a little bit on. Okay, so I can work out and diet, just hard, uncomfortable, or I can take this pill. So I am changing hard for sarcopenia. And if you don't know what sarcopenia is, I encourage you to look that up, particularly if you are currently considering or currently taking Wegovy or Ozempic or whatever other weight loss drug is going to come onto the market. It's not good for you. I don't think it's safe at all. Being overweight isn't safe either. So it kind of goes to exactly what I'm trying to get across to you is you got to pick your poison sometimes, find you just right, too hot, too cold, something comfortable but meaningful. That is probably a little bit too comfortable from my perspective. Taking a pill and losing weight, a little too comfortable, and long term, what is the effect going to be anyway? Here I am screaming, get off my lawn. Am I doing that? Yes and no, because I believe in and take advantage of new things all the time. But is the price that you're paying going to actually get you want? Is the work that you're doing going to get you the results that you want? I guess that finally, one of the questions that I want to ask, and I encourage you to ask yourself, more importantly, what are you proudest of? What are some of the things that you are proudest of? And everything in life, at every stage of your life. When you were a kid, what did you do that you're looking back on that you're really proud of? Experiences, things that you did. Maybe you were in the theater, or you were in a band, or whatever it might be, or you were in the chess club, or you were an athlete, or I have no idea, or you started a business, or you did a nonprofit thing. I can keep going. You get the idea. There's something in there that you did that you were really, really proud of. And I bet it was because you worked your butt off for it. I bet it was because you saw something you wanted to do, you committed yourself to doing it, and you did everything you needed to. You executed on your plan, and it came together for you. And now you can look back on that and you'll have it forever. I think that that is really, 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 really valuable. So something you worked for, not something that you were given. So I want you to keep in mind, because I want you to find your just right. And in every aspect of your life, when you talk about your family, find what's comfortable but meaningful in order to get you what you want. Talking about your community, civic involvement, which I think is more important today than it's ever been. Get involved, do it in a comfortable fashion, but something that's meaningful. With your work and your money, something that is comfortable but meaningful. Your wellness, so your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. Find what is comfortable but meaningful for you. For your personal development, we need to be learning and constantly stretching and pushing ourselves. So find something that's comfortable, meaningful, and whatever's going to bring you peace of mind. So those are the 6 areas that I focus on. And what I've discovered is when we can find things that are going to be sustainable, where I'm not just going to give up on it because it's too hard, or it's too inconvenient, or it just doesn't fit into my life, then I'm on the right track. I'm on the right path to success, but it also needs to be meaningful. So it needs to push me, stress me a little bit, because otherwise the needle's not going to move. I'm not going to get the change that is required. So find your just right, find your comfortable, meaningful, and remember, do your part by doing your best.